I never imagined the day would come when I would choose my daughter over my own mother so completely that it would split our family in half. But the moment I saw my 12-year-old child sitting on her bedroom floor, crying into a birthday dress she was too hurt to wear, something inside me changed permanently. My name is Daniel Mercer. I'm 46 years old, and for most of my life, my mother controlled our entire family through guilt, money, and emotional pressure disguised as tradition. Growing up, everything revolved around appearances and loyalty to her. If you obeyed, she rewarded you with affection and generosity. If you challenged her, she froze you out emotionally until you apologized regardless of who was actually wrong. My father spent 40 years quietly surrendering pieces of himself just to avoid conflict. My younger sister learned early that keeping mom happy mattered more than honesty. And me? I became the peacekeeper, the son who constantly compromised to maintain harmony because I thought protecting family unity made me mature. Then I became a father, and slowly I started seeing things differently. My daughter Lily changed me in ways I didn't expect. She's thoughtful, shy around crowds, obsessed with sketching animals, and far more emotionally intelligent at 12 than I was at 30. After my wife passed away from breast cancer 6 years ago, Lily became the center of my entire world. We survived grief together. I learned how to braid hair from YouTube videos at midnight. I burned dozens of pancakes, learning how to make her favorite breakfasts. Every difficult day somehow became manageable because she still found reasons to laugh. My mother, however, never fully connected with Lily the way she did with my sister's children. Part of it was because Lily resembles my late wife, Emily, almost exactly, and my mother never approved of Emily. She thought Emily was too quiet, too sensitive, and not socially ambitious enough for our family. Even after Emily died, my mother still made passive comments about how I needed someone stronger raising Lily. I ignored most of it because confrontation with my mother always became exhausting. But over time, her favoritism became impossible not to notice. My sister's kids received expensive gifts, weekend outings, and constant praise. Lily received polite distance and criticism disguised as advice. If Lily wore oversized hoodies, Mom called her sloppy. If she stayed quiet during family dinners, Mom called her antisocial. Once, when Lily showed everyone a sketchbook filled with drawings she'd worked on for months, my mother flipped through it for less than 30 seconds before saying, "That's nice, dear, but you should spend more time on skills that actually matter." I watched Lily's face fall instantly, but she still smiled politely because she desperately wanted approval from her grandmother. That's the worst part about children. They continue seeking love from people who repeatedly fail them, because kids naturally assume adults eventually become kinder if they try hard enough. Last spring, my mother planned a massive 70th birthday celebration at her country club. Expensive venue, catered dinner, nearly 100 guests. For weeks, she called constantly discussing seating charts, decorations, speeches, and family appearances. Then one evening, while I was finishing work in my home office, Lily knocked quietly on the door, holding her phone with tears in her eyes. "Dad," she whispered, "did Grandma really mean this?" I took the phone and saw a text message from my mother sent directly to Lily earlier that afternoon. "Sweetheart, I think it's better if you don't come to the party. There will be many important guests and older family members there. You tend to look uncomfortable at big events, and I don't want you feeling awkward or bringing down the atmosphere. Maybe we can celebrate privately another time." I read the message 3 times because honestly my brain refused to process that an adult could speak that way to a 12-year-old child. Then Lily quietly said the sentence that shattered me. "I tried really hard to be less embarrassing this year." Embarrassing. Somewhere along the line, my daughter had absorbed the belief that her quiet personality disappointed people. I asked whether Grandma said anything else, and Lily admitted my mother called her earlier too. Apparently, during the conversation, my mother suggested Lily would probably have more fun staying home drawing anyway. I looked at my daughter, sitting there blaming herself for rejection she didn't deserve, and suddenly decades of excusing my mother's behavior collapsed all at once. Every cruel comment, every manipulation, every moment I prioritized peace over accountability. I realized something painful in that instant. By staying silent for years, I had unintentionally taught my daughter that maintaining family comfort mattered more than defending her dignity. That night, I called my mother immediately. The second she answered, cheerfully asking about tuxedo arrangements, I asked why she told my daughter not to attend the party. Her tone changed, instantly defensive. "Daniel, don't make this dramatic," she sighed. "You know, Lily struggles socially." I was trying to spare her discomfort. I answered, "No, you were trying to spare yourself from having a quiet child at your perfect event." She immediately started listing excuses about important guests, formal atmosphere, and family image. Family image. Funny how cruel people always hide behind presentation. I told her directly that Lily was devastated. My mother actually sounded irritated by that. "Oh, honestly, children are too sensitive nowadays," she snapped. "When we were younger, nobody treated every little thing like trauma." That sentence ended something inside me permanently. Because dismissing a child's pain after causing it is not old-fashioned honesty. It's emotional cowardice. I told my mother clearly that if Lily wasn't welcome, neither was I. She laughed dismissively and said, "Don't overreact. You know the family expects you there." Expects. Another word powerful people use when they believe social pressure guarantees obedience. What she forgot was one important detail. 3 years earlier, after my father died, my mother transferred partial ownership of several family properties into my name for tax purposes and estate planning. One of those properties was the country club event building where her birthday party was scheduled. Technically, she managed bookings and operations, but legally, the property still required my authorization for major financial restructuring and ownership decisions. Until that week, I'd never seriously considered touching those arrangements because despite everything, she was still my mother. But watching Lily cry changed my priorities completely. The next morning, I met with my attorney and finalized paperwork transferring my ownership share of the property to an investment group that had been pursuing purchase negotiations for months. Perfectly legal, perfectly documented, and most importantly, perfectly timed. The sale agreement included immediate operational control, changes effective 48 hours before my mother's party. I didn't do it out of greed either. The sale guaranteed enough financial security for Lily's future education and allowed me to move us closer to a quieter town she'd always loved visiting. 3 days before the birthday celebration, my mother called me in complete panic after learning ownership had officially changed hands. "What did you do?" she screamed the second I answered. Apparently, the new management immediately informed her that several event privileges, including complimentary private bookings and legacy membership benefits, were suspended pending contract review. Her enormous birthday event suddenly became financially impossible without subsidies she'd always assumed would remain permanent. "You sold the property," she shouted, "over one misunderstanding. Yen surat calmly." I sold at the moment I realized protecting your feelings mattered more to me than protecting my daughter. She accused me of betrayal, manipulation, and humiliating the family publicly. Funny thing about controlling people is they often describe consequences as cruelty when their authority stops working. Then she delivered the sentence, proving she still understood nothing. "You chose a child over your own mother." I answered immediately, "That's exactly what a good father is supposed to do." Silence followed. Real silence. The kind that happens when someone finally realizes emotional control no longer works. The birthday party collapsed within days. Without discounted access to the venue and several connected services, costs became enormous. Relatives started asking questions. My sister called furious, saying I'd gone too far and embarrassed everyone. I asked one simple question in return. Did anyone embarrass my mother when she excluded a 12-year-old girl from her own family? She had no answer because there wasn't one. Meanwhile, Lily and I spent that weekend somewhere much better. We rented a cabin near a lake 3 hours north where there were no country club guests, no formal speeches, and no people measuring worth through appearances. Lily spent 2 straight days sketching birds near the water while laughing more freely than I'd seen in months. One evening, sitting beside a fire pit, she quietly asked, "Dad, were you really okay missing Grandma's party because of me?" I looked at my daughter, This gentle child who's still worried about inconveniencing people after being rejected.